And Jim, I want you to advise people here. You are the legal. Section 148 of this Constitution, subsection 5. It says nobody can run for deputy president for more than 2 terms. Even Joe. And why does it say that? Because 145 also says nobody can run for president for more than 2 terms. And this presidency is a pair. Ama namna gani, Jim? If the president is not here, who is the president? Senior deputy. If, for whatever reason, the president is not able to carry out his functions, who becomes president? Can the president sack the deputy president? Can he? So in effect, if he automatically becomes president without going for the mandate from the mwananchi, what mandate does he have? Si ni ile walichaguliwa nayo. Kwa sababu ikiwa wewe uko kwa hiyo for 2 terms, then that is why 148 says you can't run again.
All right, so Ambrose, let me begin with you. Yes. He has pointed out the fact that you can't run for presidency after 2 terms and deputy president as well. But still, at the end of the day, constitutionally speaking, it is the right of Deputy President William Ruto to vie for the top seat of the nation. So legally, help us understand that concept. And him saying that he will go to the Supreme Court to block Deputy President William Ruto from vying. How viable is that?
I think I have, with respect to my big brother and friend, is a comrade, Murathe. We did gerrymandering sometimes earlier. But this one is a hard sell at the Supreme Court, or even in the Court of Appeal, or even in the High Court, or even in the subordinate court somewhere in the village. But it can go well in a political rally and all sorts, depending on where you are selling it. If you sell it somewhere, it will sell. If you sell it somewhere, it will not sell. So legally, what he is saying has no basis at all.
Right.
Mheshimiwa William Samoei Arap Ruto has not served as the president of Kenya. So he will be barred from running as anybody's running mate, but he is allowed to run as the president. But to fight, in a fight, you can pick anything. You know, when people fight, you take all sorts of insults, lies and the truth, and you combine them, and you throw them at somebody. That may be the target. I appreciate that the seat of the deputy president is a seat which is very hot. Look at what President Moi went through. Look at what the late Karanja went through. Look at what Honorable Kibaki went through. Look at what the late Joyce Saitoti went through. The late Murumbi, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. It's a seat where you are very powerful presumptively, but also very powerless, in fact. If somebody dies, you are very powerful suddenly. So there, people love you, they respect you, they owe you. AWE, but then they also know they can step on you from the ground. So it is a seat that has a lot of violence.
Right.
And that is what Mheshimiwa Ruto is going through. All I can say is that those who are fighting the deputy president, they should always remember that Kibaki came and became president. The deputy president is young, he's consummate, and now he's also filthily rich. And we worship rich people in this country. We love them. We elect them to offices. Therefore, as you fight, please also know that there is a tomorrow, there is a Kibaki that can come up, there is a Moi that can come up.
Right.
So that let's get something strong, something good, not things like the Constitution. I love my brother Murathe, but I think this one, my senior brother, let the deputy president be. Let them face. I hope they'll face each other with Jacob in the handshake elections. then we see who becomes the president. But all this other gerrymandering, it is not fair to the deputy president.
Okay, so Senator Kangata, listen to what happened yesterday in regards to after David Murathe resigned. This is what your very own colleague, Senator from Nakuru, Susan Kihika, tweeted after the resignation. She says, we welcome the news. We cannot have the VC drilling holes into our boat while everyone else is busy rowing. Good riddance, sir. That is in regards to Murathe's resignation. And Waiguru then again tweeted her thoughts, saying, reckless utterances can often lead to unnecessary division and chaos. She goes on to say, while freedom of expression is a protected right, invisibility has no place in the present day Kenya or within the ruling Jubilee Party. As Senator, where do you stand when it comes to David Murathe's resignation? Are you out of the same school as your colleagues here? Are you happy that he's resigned? Are you breathing a sign of relief?
Yes, of course. It was quite unfortunate that we had a situation where he was talking negative things against a deputy party leader of Jubilee Party.
Right.
So therefore his position was quite untenable. But then again, he was not pushed out by anyone. He did a voluntary act. And therefore, to me, it's also positive. It shows that we in Jubilee, we do respect democratic rights of expression. And no one probably wanted to remove him. On his own motion, he decided to resign. So to me, I think it is a positive.
And Senator, being the vice chairman, or rather now the former vice chairman of the ruling party, is not a small seat. So at the end of the day, Kenyans are asking, are his sentiments independent or is he speaking on behalf of someone else? Who exactly is he speaking for?
Today's newspaper clearly captures Mr. Murathe saying that he is speaking on his own behalf. He's not acting on behalf of anyone, and therefore we should just construe his utterances as being personal. I think even yesterday I saw him here in KTN, isn't it?
Yes.
And he repeated that statement that he is not acting on the behest of any other entity. Yes.
Today we are asking our viewers whether they believe that the resignation of David Murathe is the beginning or the sinking of Jubilee Party.
No, you know what is happening? We are heading into a new dispensation of a new leader who is going to emerge in 2022. So everyone is trying to come up with a way of ensuring you leverage on that so that the person who wins probably belongs to your camp. So I think that realignment is going to happen. That's a reality, whether in Jubilee or even in NASA. And therefore, we must look politicians from the angle as being rational, self-interested, maximizing actors, meaning they are doing that which they think is going to benefit them politically going forward.
Right.
That may not be positive. It's positive and negative in one way. Negative because if unchecked, it may lead to serious chaos come 2022. It is positive in the sense it's the reality of politics. Remember, ours is a capitalist society. And if you can recall the words of a person called Adam Smith in his book called The Wealth of Nations, the butcher who gives you the meat does that because of a self-interest. He ensures that meat is in the best quality on the basis that if he does that, you're going to buy that meat from him. So the same rationale with politicians. All that they are doing, they are trying to ensure they are going to get the best out of this succession process.
Right. Michael Agonda, as a governance expert, what do you read of this resignation from Murathe? Is it the beginning of the downfall of Jubilee Party, and what next?
First of all, we have to agree that Jubilee is divided. And whether we say no or yes, it is divided. And secondly, Jubilee is being threatened from within. Remember, after the March 9th handshake, there have been a lot of issues from the Deputy President circle. In fact, if you know very well, that URP was swallowed by Jubilee Party. And once it was swallowed, there was a tentative agreement that Murathe is saying that as an insider, this was not an MOU because it was not deposited anywhere.
Right.
The Deputy President himself subsequently actually said that he's being threatened within the party and outside the party. And he said, look, you guys kicked me out, in ODM, and you came in, now you're following me and you want to fire me from my own party. Of course, an ODM person cannot come to Jubilee and fire the Deputy President, but he made that statement. He was not making that statement in fear of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, but he was making that statement in fear of Jubilee Party that he realized that were already divided, and there was a part that was supporting him and there was a part that was not supporting him. But this is what I want to say. Our history repeats itself. Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga has run for president, I think, for more than 4 times.
Right.
But we are very sure that 3 times he's won. But the state and the management of this country and the people who sit in boardroom and decide who becomes the president have refused him that opportunity to do that. And let me tell you this, he was a prime minister when he was actually, one that was not able to sit in that throne. Of course, we know that. We know those are the facts. And, when we're dealing with issues of politics in this country, sometimes we better say the truth. He did not become. If deputy president will assume that because he is in the government and is a deputy president, that he has a high opportunity or chances of becoming the president because he's the government, let him read from Raila, who was a prime minister and never became the president. And that could still happen to him.
Agwanda, you're reading my mind. Let's talk about that. The place of MOUs, and especially when it comes to boardroom MOUs, as you have put it. Let's go back to history. Back in 2007, when Honorable Raila Odinga came out and supported
Honorable Kibaki?
Exactly. He said he would go for 1 term and he would also do the next term, which was not the case in point. But what is the place of boardroom memorandum, and is it legally binding?
Boardroom memorandum is legally binding, but not in the Kenyan context.
Okay.
We have crook politicians. Once they get into power, and they get into a place of authority, they realize how powerful it is. But the problem we have in this country is not even those individual politicians who sometimes will want to run the country nicely.
Right.
It is the people who sit in those boardrooms, silent boardroom, in a hidden place that you will never know of, and they make decisions for the president. That is the fear of the deputy president, because if he's getting an onslaught from his own party, he knows that these are not just simple people. These are people who sat down and said, Uhuru Kenyatta, we are making sure that you become the president. And he was the president. And if they decided today that William Ruto is not going to be the president, I can tell you that it's an uphill task. And William Ruto is fearing that this could be a repeat of what happened to Raila, what happened to other leaders, what happened to an MOU that was actually written down. For Kibaki and Raila, it was written down, but it was never followed through. It was broken because of interest in the government. And the people that were supporting Kibaki and told him, stay put, we are the people managing this place.
Right, and whether, just to pick it up from there, at the end of the day, aren't these boardroom memorandums a way of downplaying democracy, a way of downplaying Kenyans who wake up at 3 a.m. to make queues and go vote for leaders that they think would sit in power?
Thank you. Let me, first of all, do 2 things. One, when you say is Jubilee divided or is headed for whatever, Jubilee is Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto.
Right.
Just like ODM is Honorable Raila Odinga, ANC is Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, Wiper is Kalonzo Musyoka. These are the parties. Then they give a name and then we coalesce it up. So when they are still together, the parties together. The so-called MOUs that my brother is talking about, those are interests reduced to papers. Let me call it momentary interests drafted and signed.
Right.
When interests change, they become useless. That people should know, leaders should know, Agwanda, you should know, my brother, that when it is no longer tenable that Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta continues fighting with Honorable Raila Odinga, then all the MOUs are shredded. So for now, we have the handshake, and there's a MOU around the handshake, whether written or unwritten. The day we shred it also, it will be taken to the shredder and used in the toilet. Therefore, do not place so much faith in the papers. What matters is who has the following, who is being worshipped, whose word carries the mass. In Kenyan politics, if today you can stand up and all the Luo nation and the Kikuyu nation are to you my sister, we will start bowing. The day they leave you, will leave you. So it is not about the MOUs, it's not about the people. The people themselves outside there, now let me say clearly, they are like a bag of potatoes, which leaders carry, and then they drop when they want to drop, and they carry. Now, the Wakanagwanda have been carried to the handshake. They can also be carried out of the handshake. That is how it works. So trying to pontificate about it, that there are MOUs and people should follow it and it works, no. If Raila says left, there is people who will turn left. If Uhuru says right, that's one. If Honorable Bruto says north, that is how it works. And that is the MOU that is in fact. Other MOUs are on paper, and it depends where you place them, in a shredder or in the office.
Senator, let's talk about this package that we call presidency, which in this case is Deputy Ruto as well as President Uhuru Kenyatta. Is Ruto part of that presidency? And if so, shouldn't he also leave come 2022? Just the same way he came in?
I think, personally, I don't think that is where the main debate should be, because that is a hogwash. I think Ruto is entitled to vie in 2022. I don't foresee any court ruling otherwise. So therefore, even if you were to keep on discussing that, that will never come to pass. Ruto will be a candidate in 2022. But I think the key point, I want to support my colleague here, who has insinuated that this is a game of interest. And I think from where I sit, that should be appreciated, that politics is a game of interest. What, in my own opinion, Deputy President should be considering is that, okay, fine, they won twice, now he wants now to vie. How can he conjure an interest that he can be able to give the so-called the camp of Murathe, which then would give them an incentive for them to follow him come 2022. Right. That should be the main question.
And Senator, here's the thing. This is what Anne Waiguru again tweeted on 29th of December, not too long ago. She says that it is therefore imperative and in order that the Jubilee Party hold party election soonest possible to forestall internal divisions and ensure that the statements that are made by the electoral party officials and that they in fact represent the views of the Jubilee Party as a whole. Why has the party been so quiet or so silent when it comes to Jubilee elections?
Well, again, from history, party elections have no impact at all. You will find, for instance, I recall, was it in the year, or when was it? There was a time, I think it was before 2007, when people did the election of a certain party. There was a lot of effort towards those elections, only for Kibaki to shift and form another party called PNU. Yes, in fact, it was 2006, 2007. There was a party, people were saying, hey, this is the party that Kibaki is going to vie with. So you put a lot of energy towards that party, only for Kibaki now to go and form another party a few minutes to the election. So therefore, all those party elections become hogwash. So even if we were to hold elections now for Jubilee Party, they will come to naught, if at all. There will be a configuration come 2022, right, which may render Jubilee Party irrelevant. So from where I sit again, elections or no elections of Jubilee Party, they are neither here or there. If at all, a new matrix may crop up in 2022, which then may bring a lot of realignment and formation maybe of even another party.
Right. Okay, gentlemen, just I would love to get your thoughts also on the fact that a lot of critics and analysts have come out to say, and probably Agwanda, you could lead the discussion with this one, say that Murathe's resignation will probably even hurt Ruto's presidency or him wanting to vie more than it would have even helped him.
Murathe said that he's not alone, that he has a big number of people that are supporting his thought process and that is supporting his cause. Murathe said that they have to stop Ruto from running as a president. He's not just saying that he wants to support him, but he's bringing a lot of cases that he think are baggage on Ruto that will not make him a good president of this country. He mentioned the May scandal. He mentioned that he's in court over Western with Ahmed Nazir. He mentioned a number of things that he really think that maybe this is not the right person to run this country. And the question is, the fundamental question is it the thought of maybe a half of Central Province, or is it the thought of a half of Jubilee people? And I can tell you for free, if Murathe is saying that he's been an insider and is not known to any MOU that was actually signed and deposited with the registrar of parties, is not known to that. I'm saying, then what is this pact between Uhuru and Ruto that Uhuru will lead for 10 years and then after that Ruto for 10 years.
Right.
What is this pact you guys are talking about?
Right.
I'm an insider and I don't know about this pact. I don't know about this MOU. Now, that is a fear and that is a threat that no one should take lightly. Because Murathe was not just a junior person in Jubilee, he was the deputy chair of Jubilee, and not only the deputy chair of Jubilee, he's been the mouthpiece of the president at certain times in Jubilee. I don't think if Murathe spoke very strongly in Jubilee and made a decision, it will even be overturned by the chairman of Jubilee. It will not, because it was perceived that he was very close to the president, and anything he said was in the interest of the president. Now he's getting out. And the question is, what legwork will they be doing, not only in Central Province, but within the Jubilee circles where people have respected him and have given him great responsibility? Will this be too much for the Deputy President? This is the thing that the Deputy President have to watch. Could Murathe have been among the people that perhaps were sitting in those darkroom midnight meetings in Central Province and making decisions of what the president needs to do? Now, if he is part of that mafia-like group, I am telling you that the deputy president really need to fear that it's not as
He's
easy
in
as
trouble.
you may think.
Okay, so how do you perceive this? How do you perceive this?
Oh, I think I'm surprised that my brother Gwanda seems there is some dark room where people, the Kikuyu nation meets and they declare no Ruto, sijui what. What Mheshimiwa Ruto needs is the same thing he had when he was with Uhuru Kenyatta when they became president.
Which is?
Something that you need to talk to them. It is Raila who knows. They actually thwacked these people, hands down, twice. Ruto was there, Uhuru was there, and they know it. Now, part of it, I'll give you a glimpse. Part of it is you need money, you need energy, you need youth, you need people in high places, you need your friend to be president, like Uhuru is his friend. So there will be my brother Murathe fighting the deputy president. But I keep on saying, these people went to The Hague together. They are the ones who can protect each other. President Uhuru has protected Ruto from going to The Hague. Ruto will protect Uhuru from going to The Hague. All these other questlings and charlatans and trying to stop this fellow, you can only stop him at the ballot. And I've said the easier way to stop Mheshimiwa Ruto, if you want to stop him, is to propose and support Honorable Raila. That's the only guy who can defeat him in the ballot. These other stories and rumors, it will not work. You understand that? So that trying to say we are going to the Supreme Court, trying to say we will go to court cases and we will do these things, I think we are deviating from the president's agenda. The 4 agenda items. In fact, those who are fighting our president are people who are fighting the deputy. We want to see development in the remaining 2 years. Then when you want to stop Ruto, then you take your vote, you register. Then on the day of voting, you go there. I can see that he will be on the ballot. He is very rich. He is very consummate. He will also reach everybody, including Agwanda here. And chances are that they will support. The only man who can stop him by being on the ballot is Umbrella. These are the guys.
Okay.
These ones are mincemeat, already minced.
Gentlemen, speaking of development, just a quick reminder of those sentiments that Member of Parliament Moses Kuria had made earlier on in regards to Central Kenya being marginalized and the fact that it doesn't have development when it comes to water and electricity.